Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the 107 podcast with myself, Jacob, and my co-host, Ash. Today, we will be talking about what was formerly the San Marino Grand Prix up until 2006. We are back in Imola for the first time in, 2 years? Because we didn't race there in 23 because of all of the floods. But right. We were back at the track in 2020, raced there in 21 and 22, and then we're back there again in 2024.
Emilia-Romagna.
Yeah. Do you want to go ahead and pronounce the official name, or should we just skip past that?
I'll try it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, here we go. Yeah.
Formula One, Pirelli Gran Premio del Made in Italy. Is it Del Made in Italy or Del Made in Italy?
Del Made in Italy, I think.
Del Made in Italy. Dell'Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix.
Nice. Congratulations. Yeah. And here's my attempt. Imola. So Imola, the Imola Grand Prix, or the San Marino Grand Prix, if you're fancy, should be a reasonably good weekend. We've got like pretty much every single team in the world, excluding Andretti, bringing upgrades to this race. And
I got the name wrong.
You got it wrong.
Yeah, because I was looking at the 2022 one for Lando.
Oh, Ash.
Do you want to know what this one is?
Oh, it's the MSC Cruises is added at the beginning. You've got to remember that.
Cruises Gran Premio del Made in Italy e dell'Emilia-Romagna. I hope it's made in Italy and not Made in Italy.
I think it's made in Italy. It sounds more right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're rolling into Italy, Imola this weekend. It's set to be a reasonably spicy one because literally, like we said, every single team, I think, is bringing upgrades. You have an FIA document, which sounds very sexy, in front of you. Can you confirm, is that what you had, like, in terms of what team was bringing upgrades?
The FIA document is a potential change of the halo.
Oh.
From the 2026 season.
Okay. How?
So they want to make it lighter. So lightweight halo call for expression of interest. So I'm guessing this is like an RFP.
Okay, yeah.
Which they're putting out to manufacturers that say, hey, we want to make the halo lighter for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's like 16 pages. I need to go for why. But yeah, they would like to change the halo for the 2026 technical regulations and make it lightweight.
Okay, that's fair.
It's interesting. So I guess there might be a number of reasons, but part of it could be reducing the weight of the car.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah, interesting.
I can see that being almost like, you know how we talked to Charlie about like Formula Student and stuff like that. I feel like that's something that you could ask like engineering universities to try and do and try and design like alternate ones. You could even make it like a competition type thing. That could be a really cool thing to do. But that's pretty exciting, to be fair, because let's be honest, I feel like now not seeing a halo on a car is odd, whereas previously it was the other way around.
Yeah, we're so used to it now. It's just like and I think obviously over time they've ingrained it in the design of the car.
Yeah.
So when it first came out, it was like literally bolted on.
Yeah.
But now like working with sponsors and use of the car.
I still remember when Sebastian Vettel was testing this like plastic visor thing as well. That looked a lot like IndyCar.
Like a fighter jet.
Yeah, it was, I don't know which one I prefer, to be honest with you. I think Halo, but I mean, it would have been interesting to see the other iterations of that. But yes, Imola, pretty much every single team is bringing upgrades. And we're going to talk through the first three, which will be Red Bull, McLaren, and Ferrari. Because we've already seen the Ferrari upgrades on track, and then I want to talk about one of the other teams. We've already seen the Ferrari upgrades on track while they were also testing the wet weather things, the spray guards, which look disgusting. I'm sorry. I was never against the halo, right? However, these wheel guards look a bit rank.
Yeah, but you have to understand they're testing
Yeah, they don't seem to be working that well either, because I think it's the ground effect and the diffuser is actually also causing a lot of spray as well. So although it's reducing it, it's not reducing it by that much by the looks of things from the videos and the photos that I saw.
Yeah, so there's got to be a lot of testing,
Yeah,
safety. I think there's
yeah,
mud flaps, so we're looking at like mud flaps in inverted
yeah. So
quotes.
I do want to read you one of the comments that we had on our Instagram. So this is in response to the photo we posted. If you're not following us on Instagram, please do. Uh, so KO94 said, everyone said the same about the Halo in terms of me. I essentially put in the caption, these things are ugly. Everyone said the same about the Halo, but everyone has praised it since. If these prevent a repeat of the 2-lap Spa, in quotation marks, race, and
Was that your alternate account?
no, this is no, because I responded to this person. It's about time making our eyes fall in love with them. Then I'm sure we could get used to them, especially at the advantage of better wet racing. I had to change up the text in that a little bit because he didn't quite English very well. And I literally responded and said, as someone who was there that day and spent hours in the rain, I disagree. Ugly. I didn't see them working that well on track. Here's my thing. I don't see why we are creating wet weather tire covers when we could very easily be creating wheels with Pirelli or tires with Pirelli that don't cause ridiculous amounts of spray.
They can't though.
But how did they manage in years before? How did they manage in like the early 2000s when they had like Bridgestone and stuff like that?
They still had issues.
Yeah, but I feel like it's worse at the moment. That's the only thing. I just feel like it's worse at the moment.
Nah,
But it could also be because the tyres are a bit fatter and bigger now because the cars are bigger and they weigh more.
Yeah, the cars are different. I mean, if you look at Korea 2010, that was a race that was stopped because there was just so much spray, and they were the Bridgestone tires. So I think it's they're trying to solve the problem of let them go racing in the wet.
I do get it, but I just feel like maybe the tires should also be looked at. That's mostly what I'm saying. But
the thing is, for them to go racing, they need to remove as much water as possible. For that, they probably need deeper grooves.
Yeah,
and cause more spray.
Yeah.
So, like you said, you're like in a catch-22 situation.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's a tricky one to get right, and I think that there was one other comment as well who said they're ugly, but anything that helps improve safety is worth any amount of ugliness, and I do agree with that.
Yeah, and you have to remember it's only for wet weather races, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And they just have to try the designs out. Okay, we'll see what works, and how do we streamline it? How do we make it look more aesthetic?
True. But going backwards, we did see these Ferrari upgrades on track, and quite funny. The upgrades now resemble similar shapes to Alpine and Mercedes, two cars which currently don't seem to have that much performance. So it's going to be interesting to see how quick those Ferrari upgrades actually make those two cars. Red Bull apparently have some upgrades coming as well, so that will potentially retain or like reset the gap that Red Bull had over the field in previous races, especially at the start of this season. And McLaren, they aren't really coming with upgrades, but Oscar is coming with upgrades because he only had half of the upgrades which were set for this race last round at Miami, which is going to be interesting, right? To see how he stacks up.
Now they're on equal footing.
Now they're on equal footing. Yes, exactly. And we also just did an episode on how many wins and stuff we feel, Lando Norris may end up with. So if you haven't gone over and checked that out, please do. But we didn't actually chat about how many wins we feel as though Oscar Piastri may have towards the end of his career. And I personally see Oscar as a bit of a bigger talent than Lando. I can see Oscar being a lot more successful than Lando.
Well, we're going to ruffle some feathers.
I am going to ruffle some feathers with that, but I think Lando has 5 years experience in Formula One, and Oscar has 1 currently, and Oscar is a little bit younger, and I would argue almost as quick.
Well, he won the sprint race.
He won a sprint race last year as well, which is very impressive because nobody thought they would at all last year. He was doing very well in the sprint in Belgium last year as well. Led a couple of laps as well. I think
he was doing well in Miami.
Yeah,
it worked out. He was on or quicker than Lando.
he had the fastest lap, but obviously that was
upgrades.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, Oscar could start even pushing Lando even this season. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I think over the course of his career, Oscar will probably be more successful than Lando. I'm sorry, that's what I think.
It's going to be interesting to see. So
absolutely, but it's going to be the first. I was going to say real test, but one of the next tests will be Imola this weekend. So we will have to wait and see. And then the other team who are bringing upgrades is Mercedes. However, they said that they're not it's not that they're not that confident in them; it's that they don't know how well they're going to perform, which is always good.
Which means they're confident.
Yeah. So, because I think Mercedes...
they're setting expectations early.
Yeah, I think they want to set expectations low just in case. But we will wait and see. And then it's also going to be interesting because Haas are bringing upgrades, and Haas and Aston Martin... This is not a sentence I expected to be saying. At Miami last weekend before, sorry, Haas and Aston Martin were very similar on pace. So it's going to be very interesting. I can see your face scrunching up, the biggest Fernando Alonso fan. It's going to be very interesting to see how Haas and Aston Martin stack up against each other, which is not something I expected to be saying in the first half. Well, if you asked me in the first half of, last year before, that's not something I'd expect to be saying.
Yeah, I just find it annoying with Aston Martin because they build a good car and then they just can't make it better. So...
I don't know. It's very odd. I don't understand. But yeah,
they've got the resources.
They've got tons of resources. Yeah. Yeah. God knows. But let's roll into the actual track itself and maybe even some predictions and stuff like that. What we feel may or may not happen. For me, I think it depends on how well the upgrades go for Ferrari.
Yep.
In comparison to McLaren, because I think it would be very interesting if they were both almost exactly the same sort of speed, but it came down to the drivers. Max is probably going to win anyway, but I think it would be very interesting to see what it comes down to, because also McLaren have one race under their belt with these new upgrades, so they will be able to adapt to them better for Imola.
I think we're going to see 3 different teams on the podium.
I think you're right.
I think it's going to be a Red Bull, a Ferrari, and a McLaren, but I'm not sure what order.
I was going to say, have we had that this season? But that literally happened in Miami.
As I say, that's the last race.
Yeah, literally the last race.
I think maybe Verstappen, Leclerc, Norris is what
I'm going Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz.
Oh, you're not thinking there's going to be 3 different. You do think
sorry, not Leclerc, Verstappen, Lando, Sainz. Sorry, I said like L. The syllable L came out of my mouth, and I went Leclerc, not Lando. I'm still sick, so I do apologise. My head is not fully switched on. But yeah, so I'm going Max, Lando, Carlos.
Okay. Max does well here.
Max loves this track. So it's, I think it's one of the ones.
I'm not believing any team that says, "Oh, it might not suit us," after what McLaren did in Miami.
Yeah.
This track won't suit us, and went on to win.
Yeah, ridiculous. I think looking forward, a track I'm particularly interested to see how well they do at McLaren, Silverstone. Very interested to see how well that goes.
We'll see.
But that's for a couple of weeks away. We're good now. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be a good weekend. It's going to be very interesting. I think genuinely very interesting. We will simply have to wait and see. Anything else you wanted to talk about Imola? Because there's not really too much to talk about other than upgrades. And other than it's going to be interesting to see where Ferrari and McLaren and Red Bull and Mercedes and Haas and Aston Martin end up. I don't think there's anything... Oh, no, actually, that's a lie. There is some track changes, isn't there?
I was gonna say, do you reckon we'll see some rain?
Have you looked at the weather? Apparently, it's supposed to rain Wednesday, Thursday, and then it's supposed to be dry Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then wet Monday.
Well, I mean, there was the floods last year. We've
Yeah,
had wet races there before, so
yeah,
it's a
true.
possibility. And then they jump straight into Monaco after that.
They do, yes.
So I think, yeah, the order that we see in Imola are probably very similar to the order that we see in Monaco. So,
So I'm just having a look. There is a photo that I have seen wandering around. So there are some track changes I'll very quickly run through compared to 2022 for 2024. So at turn 9, where
yep.
there was like a big flag or like thing on the road that said Imola, that's gone and it's now just gravel, which Carlos Sainz might be a little bit scared of. But the runoff is completely gone. It's just gravel now. They've also reduced the runoff of turns 11, 12, and 13. So where Kevin Magnussen caused a red flag the last race, I don't know if you remember that, and then Lando went off as well, and then they were confused as to whether or not they should allow the cars to or let a lap stand, or I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was because Magnussen was through to Q3, and then he set a really good time that then meant somebody else couldn't qualify, and then he himself caused a red flag. I can't remember the specifics, but it's something along those lines. But where that incident happened, there is less runoff, meaning that if there is rain, it could get pretty spicy. And then the only other track change is turns 14 and 15, which is like the very, it's like the little hairpin almost. Before the final 2 corners of the race, there's been a gravel trap added, meaning that people are going to have to stick to where Leclerc span out a couple of years ago.
And Tsunoda had his crash.
And Tsunoda had his crash as well. That location there, that they've added a gravel trap. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I feel like I think there's also I was reading up on the statistics, there's a 50% chance of a safety car.
Yeah, it's quite a tight high-speed circuit.
Really tight, old
there was
track.
That massive crash with Valtteri and George.
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, slippy track.
Yeah.
Well, slippy grass.
I wanted to talk about a couple of things.
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Have you seen Pierre Gasly's helmet for this race?
I have. I love it. I think it's so nice.
So cool. It's such a great tribute.
Awesome. Thank you, Pierre. Thank you. Because that is genuinely lovely. I really, really like that helmet design. And I love the fact I'm 99% sure he had approval from the Senna family and Senna Foundation.
It looks, I think you mentioned that.
Fantastic.
Also, do you want to know what other tribute is happening for Senna?
I know what this is. It's Sebastian Vettel.
It is Sebastian Vettel. We'll be driving one of Senna's car.
My hero.
The MP48 at Imola, which I think is going to be epic.
I don't know how it will be televised or viewable or whatever.
Can you imagine hearing that car at Imola?
Oh my God. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So Sebastian Vettel in the paddock. We were doing bingo. We don't need to do it anymore because we've already won. But that would have been ticked off the bingo card. But yeah, it's going to be nice to see Seb back in the paddock again. Maybe it's so that he can have meetings with other teams and come back, Mercedes. Please, for the love of God, bring it back. Yes. So that's going to be really, really exciting. Definitely. Really looking forward to that.
I do hope they televise it.
I hope somehow. They'll put it on F1 socials, won't they? Probably.
Yeah, but it'd be nice, just on board or something on their YouTube. That would be nice.
Is that the
Seb brags it a little bit?
Is that the Saturday or the Sunday?
So he's doing it on the. Doesn't actually say. He just says he's going to be in Imola from the 17th to the 19th. He'll probably do it on the Sunday.
I would assume the Sunday.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Says, I will be in Imola for the Grand Prix to drive his car, the McLaren MP48. I hope to see you on Sunday, May the 19th. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Well, Sunday then. Yeah. Because I was thinking they should have released the schedule for it, and they have, because we also have F2 and F3 racing this weekend too.
Oh,
which is very cool. So I've got so much Formula to watch this weekend. I am very much looking forward to that. They also have the Porsche Super Cup. It's the first race of the season for them, which is cool. But I'm just looking at the thing now. They have a historic car demonstration between 12:30 and 12:50.
Yep.
But then they have the Senna historic car demonstration between 1:40 and 1:55, which must be the Vettel thing.
Yeah, I reckon it
Must be.
Yeah.
So yeah, very, very cool. So with new track changes, right? New track changes. We've got Sebastian Vettel driving Senna's car, and we've got teams coming with upgrades. This weekend's set to be really good.
Yeah. And it's at a normal time.
And it's at a normal time for Europeans anyway. If you're not European,
so
soz.
2 p.m. I think here in the UK and 3 p.m. for you. Is that right?
Yes, 3 p.m. for me as a European.
Yeah, local time is 3 p.m. So
Yeah.
we'll be on 2.
Yeah. So yeah, really looking forward to it. I think it should be good.
Yeah, me too. We're back in Europe.
We're back finally, normal bloody times. We have, although to be fair, we have Canada coming up, but I think it's 8 o'clock for me, 7 o'clock for you, so that's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. Yeah, whatever. But
Cool.
yeah, should we end it there?
Yep.
Yep. I don't think there's probably the minute we stop recording, something ridiculous is going to happen.
Of course.
Some sort of driver announcement.
It's been
Adrian
pretty
Newey
quiet
to Haas
anyway.
confirmed.
Yeah, it's been pretty quiet. I think the only thing was there was the historic Grand Prix Monaco.
Yes.
And Newey was racing.
Yeah,
so
that
I was
overtaking the hairpin. Oh.
racing. So, but yeah, looking forward to Imola.
Yes.
I think it's going to throw up a few surprises.
Fingers crossed some interesting stuff happens.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will do. But we will... Oh, also, I don't know if you know, guess who's going to be there at the race weekend?
I don't know.
Karina.
Is she? She
Karina's going to Imola.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really cool.
Ah.
So I saw bless her, she only has one 10-kilogram bag for like over a week.
Oh no!
And I'm like, oh no, you're going to struggle, aren't you? You're actually going to struggle. Yeah. Best of luck, Karina. Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for listening. And we will see you post Imola when we're ready to talk about how Oscar Piastri won by 18 seconds. Cheers, everyone. Wishful thinking.
Bye.
It's wishful bloody thinking.
If that comes true.
Oh my god, yeah. Other rumour about Haas.
What, that they're suing Gunther Steiner?
No, well, there is that. But did you hit... Apparently, the rumour is that because Audi are looking at obviously bringing in Nico Hülkenberg, so there's a seat going at Haas, right? But what happens to Zhou Guanyu? Apparently, Haas's lineup for next year is set to be Zhou Guanyu and Oliver Bearman.
So K-Mag's
So
out.
K-Mag would go.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sat here going, what?
Makes sense.
Like, it does, but also, for Joe. But then I remember money exists.
Yeah, so he's probably going to bring...
Joe will probably bring in some ridiculous spot. Like, I know, let's be honest, Denmark is not the biggest country in the world. They're not the richest country in the world. We're not doing too badly. But some bigger sponsors, for example, China... Definitely will come into play. So, but apparently that's the rumoured lineup next year is Oliver Bearman, depending on how well he does in his FP sessions that he has. He has one this weekend, actually, in Imola. But yeah, and then Zhou Guanyu potentially in for K-Mag.
I think that's the right decision.
I didn't see it coming. I don't want it to happen, but I think it might be the right one. I don't want it.
You need to be neutral. You can't let your allegiances cloud your judgment.
Oh, that makes me sad. But this is why we need Andretti, because then we got more seats, and then we've got more
Andretti would
K-Mag.
pick up K-Mag.
How don't cover his ears? Like, don't say that about K-Mag. Yeah, okay, we'll bin it there. We'll stop recording now. But yeah, I just wanted to chat about that a little bit because that's actually reasonably big news.
That just makes so much sense, actually. I agree.
It does, but I don't want it to.
You need to pick before these Danish tinted glasses.
Danish
Papaya
papaya
tinted
tinted glasses are not good for me, are they?
right?
Oh
You've got to
no.
be as somewhat neutral in this
No,
podcast. It's
boo.
not the K-Mag podcast
I know
or
it's
the
not.
Papaya podcast, which is actually a very good
Why?
name.
God damn it, Ash! When we were naming this. Oh, God damn it. That would have been so good.
Oh gosh. How much did that McLaren fleece set you back?
I don't want to talk about it. It's so nice, though. Like, genuinely, it's so
It does
nice.
look nice. I don't think I could
Like,
wear it. It's just too loud for me.
It's very loud, but like it's one of those pieces. I'll put it on again. It's one of those pieces where it's just like, and I said this when it came out, and I remember saying it to you. It's so ugly, it's cool. That's it. Genuinely, it's not. I don't think it's ugly.
It was sold out for a while. They had to restock it.
Sold out for such a long time. I checked in Reese in London. I checked in Reese in Reading as well. And then they came back online, and yeah, look at it. It's so loud. But I feel like I suit this like fleece type material or like fleece type things. For some reason, I seem to suit it, or I think I do anyway. And so it just works for me. Yeah, I love it. It's so nice. It's so nice. I have to go walk the dogs in a couple of minutes. I am 100% going to be wearing it, even though it's roasting outside. I just need to wear it. I need things to wear it to, you know? I need to like start taking the missus out to dinner just purely so I can wear my expensive jacket.
She wouldn't go with you.
Yes,
She would
be like,
take that goddamn thing off.
leave it in the bloody car. No, she'd never say bloody. She's Danish. That's not a typical thing that you'd find anyone other than British people saying. But there we go. Yeah.